Hey guys, for today's video, I'm going to do a full read-through of the illustrated comic version of Interview with the Vampire. There's just such little visual media of so many of our Rysian vampires that I jumped at the chance to get these comics and take you all through them one by one, issue by issue. The good news is that there's 3 full books that the comics covered, with 12 comic issues per book. The bad news is they stopped production after The Queen of the Damned. I think the company went out of business as they never released issue 12 of The Queen of the Damned. Anyway, we've got tons of illustrated content to go through, and I'll do my best to try get the voices as close as possible. Enjoy issue 1 of Interview with the Vampire. How much tape have you? Enough for the story of a life? Sure. If I'm lucky, I interview 3 or 4 people a night. It has to be a good story. It's only fair, isn't it? Admirably. I would like to tell you the story of my life then. Very much. Great. I'm really anxious to hear why you believe this. Why? No. We can't begin that way. If your equipment is ready, sit down. I'm going to turn on the lights. Dear God! Do you see? Do you still want to do the interview? Yes. Do not be afraid. Believe me, I will not hurt you. I want this opportunity. It is most important to me. Begin. Just start the tape. You weren't always a vampire, were you? No. At age 25, I became a vampire in the year 1791. How? There's a simple answer to that, but I think I want to tell the real story. I've told this tale but once, so very long ago. There was a tragedy. My younger brother, he died. Our family had received a land grant and settled 2 indigo plantations on the Mississippi, very near New Orleans. Our life was both luxurious and primitive. My father was dead then, I the head of the household, but we all loved it, my mother, sister and I. Yes, all except my brother. Prayer was all that mattered to him. Prayer and his leather-bound lives of the saints. This oratory is beautiful. It gives me such peace. How can I thank you for it? You comfort me and help me, Paul. As much as I shall hate losing you, I know the priesthood calls. I can't deny you nothing. Of course, I was wrong. I find you here night and day, unchanging. Come, Paul, walk with me. Eat something. Won't you answer? Speak to me. About myself, without denying him nothing, he began to have visions. Real ones? I didn't think so. Saint Dominic and the Blessed Virgin came to me in the oratory and have told me what is to be done. And that is, sell all our holdings here. You are to give me the money to return to France. There I shall lead the faithful to turn the tide of atheism and end the godless revolution. How dare you laugh? The Virgin commanded this. Who are you to disregard her? The oratory was a mistake. I shall have it raised and you shall enter school in New Orleans. You will learn something and forget this nonsense and these visions. I didn't believe him. Vicious egotism. I loved him, believed him holy, almost a living saint. I was Catholic. I believed in visions, but not my brother, not his visions. Because he was my brother, that is egotism. I denied him. He never wavered in his conviction. Paul left my room crazed and grieved, and within minutes he was dead. They all held me responsible. I felt myself responsible. What was it that night? Paul never raised his voice, yet he was screaming at you. Mama, I've told you, it was nothing of importance. That boy didn't fall down the stairs, he flew, like he was blown down. Like he was pushed, I'd say. I never wanted to see Pontillac or the oratory again. I hired an agency to manage the plantations, so that I never need go there. I didn't escape Paul. I tried to avoid imagining him rotting in his grave, to not dream of saving him that night. I lived like a man who wanted to die, but lacked the courage to do it himself. Then my open invitation for attack was answered by a vampire. He drained me to the point of death. I thought I'd had a stroke and expected to die. Paul, I know I didn't kill him, but I cannot live now. Not after the way I treated him. Ridiculous. Of course you can. Your mother and sister need you. Self-indulgent pup. As for your brother, he was possessed by the devil. The devil is rampant. France is lost to him. The revolution is his greatest triumph. Nothing could have saved your brother but fasting and prayers and men to hold him down as the devil raged in him. You weren't talking to Paul, but to Lucifer. No! No! Don't! Help! Mon Dieu! So near death and they bled me. The fools. It was then I conceived of my own egotism, reflected in the priest. But he believed in demonic possession. More mundane. And another name for madness, you don't have to see Satan when he is exorcised. But to stand in the presence of a saint and believe he has seen a vision. No. We refuse to believe it could occur in our midst egotism. They bled you to cure you? That must have nearly killed you. It certainly did. But the vampire came back that night. You see, he wanted Pontulac, my plantation. He was extraordinary. My ego was crushed in that instant. I forgot myself totally. I won't see another doctor and I will not be reasoned with. And in the same instant knew the meaning of possibility. From then on, I only knew increasing wonder. As he spoke, my past shrank into embers. I stood apart from my life and saw my narrow, selfish existence. I saw my true gods: food, drink, security and conformity. Cinders. No other decision was possible, and I've not looked back but once. Au revoir. It was the last sunrise. Do you miss it? Not really. There are so many other things. How did you change exactly? I can't tell you exactly. I can enclose it in words that will show you its value to me. But I can't tell exactly any more than I can tell you exactly what the experience of sex is if you have never had it. As I told you, Lestat wanted the plantation, a mundane reason surely. But he was not a very discriminating person. He had human problems and living in New Orleans had become a problem. So he wanted Pontulac. He must never know of what we are. Now to begin your change, you must learn to feed. The best way is by example. I was to watch and approve. But since Paul, I had a most high regard of life and a horror of the death of others. He took nearly an hour to die. I cannot do this. I'm going to be ill. You will feel different once you've changed. You will laugh too. He was wrong about that. Now to make it look like a robbery. I never laugh at death, no matter how often I am the cause. I had seen becoming a vampire in two lights. The first, simple enchantment. The second, my wish to be thoroughly damned. I want to die. This is unbearable. You have the power to kill me. Let me die. I want to die. Kill me. Kill me. I am guilty of murder. I want to die. I thought you wanted to die, Louis. Yes, that is my name. Now, listen to me, Louis. Be still. I'm going to drain you to the very threshold of death. And I want you to be quiet. So quiet that you can almost hear the blood flow through your veins. So quiet that you can hear the same blood flow through mine. It is your consciousness, your will, which must keep you alive. Listen. Keep your eyes wide. The movement of his lips sent a shock of sensation through me, not unlike the pleasure of passion. Within minutes I was weak to paralysis. I could not even will myself to speak. I think I knew what was to happen before it did, and I was waiting, helpless, as though I'd been waiting for years. Have you ever lost a great amount of blood? Do you know the feeling? No. Drink, Louis. Steady. Hurry, Louis. How pathetic to describe these things that can't truly be described. I saw nothing but the light, and then the next thing was sound. A dull roar, then pounding like a drum, louder and louder, and then the pounding of a second drum, that drummer giving no notice to the first. The sound grew louder until it filled all of my senses, not just my hearing. I felt it in my veins, in my temples, in the flesh of my lips. Lestat pulled away. As I reached for his wrist, I realized that the first drum was my heart, and the second had been his. Do you understand? No, I mean, I do. Of course. Wait, the tape is nearly out. I have to turn it over. What happened then? I saw as a vampire. It was as if I were able to see colors and shapes for the first time, and I heard the sound of his laughter as the metallic deal of bells. Stop looking at my buttons. Go out into the trees and rid yourself of all human waste, and don't lose yourself, for the love of night. It was a wise command. I heard the night as a chorus of women, whispering, calling me to them. I was dying as a human, yet fully alive as a vampire, and with my awakened senses, I had to see the dying of my body with discomfort and, finally, with fear. Something's happening to me. You're dying, that's all. Don't be a fool. You're a rich man. All that money and no oil lamps. Bring me that lantern. Dying. It happens to everyone. I still despise him for that he could have told me that I could watch my death with the same fascination which I felt that night. Lestat was never the vampire that I am. Not at all. Oh, for the love of hell. Do you realize I've made no provision for you? What a fool I am. You'll have to bed down with me this morning. I haven't prepared your coffin. The idea of a coffin struck such terror in me that I think it absorbed all my capacity for that emotion. Why do you live such a schedule? Where do you go? What do you do? I take care of you, don't I? If I choose to sleep all day and drink all night, I will do so, damn you. Such a son. All right then, go to your woman. Just hope that her husband has left for the day. I was enthralled with the old man's face. I was nearly hypnotized by the quivering of his lip. But first, get me my rosary. Where is my rosary? But the rosary, don't they have crosses? Yes. I'm afraid that I don't allow you to ask enough questions. That rumor that we cannot look upon crosses. Nonsense, my friend. It is how you would say it today. Bullshit. We have no magical powers. All the rumors we can change into steam to pass through keyholes, stakes through the heart. All nonsense. Bullshit. I see you have your cigarettes in your pocket. Why don't you smoke one? Here, allow me. There is an ashtray on the basin. What happened then? You went back to New Orleans post-haste. Must it be that shape? Please, let me stay in the closet. Don't you know what you are? It's nearly dawn. I should let you die. The sun will destroy the blood I've given you. All of it. You shouldn't feel this way. I think you're like a man who's lost a leg, yet still feels the pain. Now I'm getting into this coffin, and if you know what's good for you, you will too. It was the most sensible thing Lestat ever told me. I realized I was not afraid, but was simply remembering fear. Am I dead yet? I'm itching and tingling all over. You're not then. When you are, you'll see and hear the changes and feel nothing by tomorrow. Go to sleep. When I woke, I was changed. My body dead. I entered another stage in my divorce from my human emotions. I thought, I detest you. I am not yet your equal. I'm infinitely closer than before. You cannot understand. You are as I was before my body died. Lestat was absolutely the most overwhelming experience I'd ever had. Your cigarette has become one long cylindrical ash. Oh, you mean when the gap between you closed? He lost his spell? Yes. The stat's constant chatter was the most boring thing on an otherwise thrilling ride home. But I had much to learn from him. For that night I had to make my first kill. Excuse me. I didn't mean to frighten you. Excuse me, your arm seemed so long. You reached so far without moving. I moved too fast for you to see me. You didn't move. You were sitting just as you are now. You have just experienced a fundamental difference between the way we perceive things. My movement appeared to be slow and languid, the sound of my fingers on fabric quite audible. In any case, my first kill. The plantation was in an uproar. My sister had called the police when the overseer's body and the blind old man were discovered. In no event can they see you in the light, now that you've changed. Gendarme, perhaps I can be of some assistance. Perhaps, sir. You will be more comfortable indoors, and excuse me. Are you aware of the presence of an old man whom none can identify? I'm quite comfortable here, thank you. The old man is a guest of mine. I brought him last evening. So, you had no awareness of the death of your overseer? As for my man, he had business in New Orleans. I believe he was not here at Pontulac. My new detachment served me well. I could now see that several of my slaves were capable of managing the indigo plant. You men shall take over the running of the indigo plant. I should expect excellent results. The women will care for the wants and needs of the old man as if he was myself. You will all be rewarded not only for your service, but for leaving me and Monsieur Lestat absolutely alone. I made a bad mistake. I failed to realize that their experience with the supernatural was far greater than that of white men. But I was telling you of my first kill. Lestat bungled it with his characteristic lack of common sense. Must we go here? There are poisonous snakes and fever-carrying insects. I should never have become humans. Don't carry on so, you fool. He must feed, and tonight, let's get it done. Take him. I can't. Who's there? Ugh. You sicken me. Come, we must get another before they all return to camp. Do it. You can't turn back now. The experience could have been so rich. A celebration of the experience of becoming, which is the ultimate experience for a vampire. Once I began drinking, everything else vanished. He's dead, you idiots. You don't drink after they're dead. Understand that. He will drag you down into death with him if you do that. Besides, you've drunk too much. Now you'll be ill. You'll get used to the killing. It will be nothing. You are reaching too much, as if you were still a human being. All too soon, you'll become accustomed to what we are. I then understood the difference between us. I had been altered permanently. I felt everything profoundly. Do you think so? Lestat felt nothing. He was a Sozier from which nothing of value could be made. I thought to myself, I have been sadly cheated. Having him as a teacher, I must try to exert my own powers to maximize each experience. But how? I do miss glasses. I want to show you a little trick. That is, if you like glasses. Don't be such a damned idiot. Have you never seen a rat? Rats can be quite nice. Don't look so shocked. You may well have to live off rats from time to time, or cattle, and chickens, especially when traveling by ship. It grows cold so quickly. You mean, then, that we can live off animals? Yes. You don't mind, do you? There's not much you can do about it if you do mind. I can throw you and your father off the plantation. Why would you want to do that? You don't know everything yet, do you? Do you play? Don't touch that. I'll touch what I like. Do you know all the ways you could die? No. And dying would be such a calamity now, wouldn't it? There must be someone to teach me. You can't be the only vampire. Do you think you can find other vampires yourself? My friend, they may see you, but I doubt that you'd see them. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm your teacher and you need me. Besides, you have people who depend on you to care for, as do I. Now to bed. We both sleep in the same room. It makes for far less risk. No. Secure the bedroom for yourself. I have no intention of staying in the same room with you. Don't do anything stupid, Louis. I warn you. You're doubling our risk of notice. There's nothing you can do to defend yourself once the sun rises. Nothing. I sleep alone. It's almost morning. Then lock yourself in. Paul, for the first time I feel nothing for you. Nothing for your death. Yet for the first time I feel everything for you. Feel the sorrow of your loss as if I never had the feeling before. That is how I became a vampire. That is all for issue 1 of Interview with the Vampire, the comic book series. Guys, if you like this video and you want to see issue 2, then let me know in the comment section below. I do want to make content that you guys want to see. It's not just about what I want. Anyway, thanks again for watching. If you want to join the Vampire Folklore family, then please make sure to click that subscribe button. And if you like the video, smash that like button because it tells YouTube that you are enjoying my content. Thanks again, and I'll see you all in the very next video.